these Sweet Bay Magnolias have a way of, I don't know what, they just, I would love to top them.
You know, why do people top trees?
They think it's going to stop them from growing.
Well, that's one reason.
Make them manageable.
Make them manageable.
Yeah, too tall a tree.
Too tall a tree. Now, why are they too tall a tree?
Because they planted
They
the
plant too tall.
They're on the
Wrong tree in the wrong place. You have to plant the right tree in the right place to keep something like that from happening. Then you don't ever have to worry about topping your trees. You know, pear trees like that one over there, the Bradford pear trees. Please don't buy pear trees. All pear trees are junk no matter what cultivar they are, because they eventually will split no matter what cultivar they are. Cleveland Selects and what's the other one? Aristocrat pears may last a little bit longer because they have a little bit better branch unions, but they typically will develop weak branch unions no matter what, and they'll all split out eventually. So don't buy pear trees.
How Bartlett fruit trees or?
Oh yeah, well I mean if you want to buy a pear tree for fruit to eat, go ahead. You know that, but you have. Now, pruning fruit trees is another animal too, and if we have enough time, we'll touch on it up in the front here. But you would prune, you do need to severely prune fruit trees. So when I'm talking about pruning trees, ornamental trees and shade trees and evergreen trees, you do have to prune them right. But fruit trees are a completely different story. You have to prune them a completely different way.
When they're little switches like that, and like the oaks will just grow. And I chopped little oaks the other day.
Yeah.
They're just little switches, and they were just, the wind would just blow them.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, it's okay for them to do that typically, because what will happen is as the wind blows these around, they'll develop more wood fibers in the stems to help them sustain those winds in the future. Now, which is another reason why not to top trees. So let me go ahead and talk about why not to top trees. Now, if we top a tree, certain species, like pines, if you cut past the green or past a certain point, they won't come back out. They'll just die no matter what. So some species of trees will die if you top them, some. But if you have a species of tree that can withstand topping, you're still going to put it under stress, and that could cause a tree to die too. So what causes the tree to go under stress? Well, this tree here and these pines, what they do is the leaves, the photosynthesis happens in the leaves. And what photosynthesis does is it takes the water nutrients from the ground, which are translocated into the leaves, and the sunlight combines with those nutrients in that water to make carbon compounds, which is what the tree feeds on and grows with. So if we top a tree out, we're eliminating all the sites where the leaves can grow from. So if the tree survives, it's going to put new leaves out. But it's going to be a long time, at least a couple of years, before it can put enough leaves out to where it can feed itself properly. So in the meantime, it's going to be under stress. As I said, could cause the tree to die or suffer immensely. Now, if the tree survives and if it puts enough foliage out to feed itself, over time, those wounds will try to heal, but in most cases they won't heal properly, because what happens is when you top a limb, cut it off, and you leave a stub there, if it lives, it's going to sprout back out like this. But those sprouts are going to grow from the edge of the stub. They're not going to grow from the center. Therefore, that's going to be a weak point of attachment, so those could peel in the future. The other thing that, that can happen is this stub won't heal properly for several reasons. One, because what I was talking about back there, these wood fibers are not as dense as where you would make a proper cut at a branch union. So the wood fibers can rot a lot faster. Plus, a stub, it just won't heal properly. It'll try to grow from different places around the stub generally, but you'll have some decay happen in the heartwood, which is the center of the branch. And that will rot out. And I have seen entire trees completely rot out from the top down to the ground because they've been topped, because they rot out. And when water gets in there and sits in there, it has no place else to go. it just sits in there and rots out literally the entire tree through the heartwood. So those are the main reasons why not to top trees. The other thing is, some people top trees to keep them under control. But if a tree survives, it will generally grow more vigorously, therefore growing back twice as fast, therefore needing to be pruned twice as often. So your maintenance costs actually go up to top trees rather than eliminate maintenance costs in the future. If you prune a tree properly and take out defective limbs or rubbing limbs or dead limbs and keep your tree in good shape, one, you shouldn't have to worry about the tree causing damage in the future, and two, you keep it more manageable and you reduce your maintenance costs in the long run. And in the tree classes that I give to the tree companies, I advise the tree companies not to top trees because that gives them a bad name as tree toppers. And but that's their own deal if they want to take every single job that comes their way or not. The other thing about topping trees is, some people think, a few people think it's attractive, but most people know that top trees are definitely not attractive. And so for some amount of years, if you top a tree, it's going to look ugly. And imagine if you're trying to sell your property, how difficult it will be to try sell your property, at least for a certain time of the year, if you have some ugly trees in front of your house. So it's just not a good thing to top trees. So